Hello everyone, welcome to Respectful Dave, welcome to this live stream. Hopefully everyone's been having a good day. Unfortunately we don't have, well, I'm not gonna jinx it, I don't want to say it, but touch wood, hopefully we should be able to be live right now. This is the daily puzzle. Usually we start by warming up, doing some tactics. In this case we have bishop takes h6, we have a battery, the smallest the battery can be, but regardless, if anything, it's probably the smaller the battery, the easier it is to miss it. Because from far away, these two pieces are attacking h6. Pretty basic stuff. We take on h6, this is the correct move. They go king h7, which I'm quite surprised because that allows future knight g5 checks. I thought king g8 was going to be played, therefore the explanation behind the arrows in the thumbnail you just looked at before you clicked on this live stream. So king g8, I was thinking just takes, but I guess that it's just all the same. Although we do have the additional resource of playing knight g5 here, because after takes we have knight f7 winning the queen. But I suppose black has enough compensation because at the end of that line there's g takes f2. That's a fork, we lose a rook, and we lose quite a bit of material. So I'm going to take on f8. Quite confused. And that is correct. The reason why knight g5 is incorrect is because of king takes h6. It doesn't matter knight e6 or knight f7, both of them are going to win the queen. So let's say knight f7, king g7, and after takes there's g takes f2, Zwischenzug, intermediate move. Why is this intermediate move? Because the usual line in a variation, when you're calculating, the natural move would be to capture back the knight, right? And after this, white is absolutely fine. But of course, intermediate move, you give a check, another intermediate move, and then you take, and then that's too much material for the queen. Even though white did win the queen, black has enough compensation, enough material to compensate for that queen. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make sure that everything's working right. Well, I'm not going to have checks. I thought queen, so let's say knight f7, king g7. Okay. Okay, well, it seems like, touch wood, we should be good to go. Okay. So I've been working and analyzing the games from the previous live streams, and I've come up with some interesting innovations that hopefully I will be able to reveal through the live stream. Firstly, I've been working a lot in this delayed Alabin. So here knight d5 is the natural move. Bishop c4 is a big deal. After knight b6, bishop b3, there's c4, there's d5, but I go for d4. After takes, once again, I think bishop c4 is a big deal. Sacrificing the pawn, but I take back. Here d6, bishop c4, knight b6, bishop b5 is the main line. So everything has been standard so far. My opponent's thinking about d takes e5, I'm assuming. Oh, okay. Which wouldn't have been the main line. Here I just get here. It's important to go knight c3 here in this position, not castles. If you castle, you allow black to develop the bishop through fianchettoing. Whereas when you go knight c3, g6, there's no time for that because I have d5. Even a6, bishop takes, and d5 is coming quickly. So black has to put the pawn on e6, and now I castle. Bishop e7 is the natural move. There's rook d8, there's a6, there's rook c8. There are several moves in this position. So a6 is played. I think I have to take here to keep the momentum. Queen takes c6. I guess b takes e6 is also playable to support d5, but queen takes e6 is a little bit more natural. Hello Viking, I'm doing well. What about you? So queen takes e6, and here queen g4 I've played recently. Queen g4 I played recently, but I think rook e1 is a better try. Rook e1 is a better try, that's threatening d5, so it encourages bishop e7. And what was my finding here? Was it queen g4? Actually, I think it was d5. So d5. d5 is definitely in the candidate moves list. I think it's d5 because if takes, I take. Worst case scenario, you just have tons of compensation for the pawn. Okay, knight 65 feels right. Queen d4, bishop f6, queen 65 is winning, but of course they're not going to go bishop f6, they're going to go castle shorts. I think I just take here. Yep. So queen takes d5 I'm expecting. To which I'm just going to take, and play some black bishop f4. Ah. Ahaha. That's clever. So I'm losing now. No, wait a second, I have queen g4. I have queen g4 and now things are different. I think we're getting somewhere. We managed to confuse our opponent. We did spend quite a bit of time though. Queen takes d5, queen takes g7, rook f8. And then I'm planning to... I mean, rook takes d5, queen takes g7, rook f8 is probably the best. And after that, I am planning to go bishop h6, queen h7. Or maybe bishop e3, rook c1. Okay. Queen d4 is a candidate move. I didn't even see this. I guess I have bishop h6 now. I'll take and play bishop e3. And it's just a slightly better endgame, I guess, because I have less pawn islands. My opponent has 1, 2, 3 pawn islands, and I don't. I can also just go queen g3, by the way. And my king is safer than his or hers. So I should be happy to keep the queens. Bishop d6, I'll go queen f3. So now hitting b7. Castle shorts bishop h6 is, or like castle short side is a complete... It looks suicidal. It looks completely wrong. Additionally, I have bishop g5. I think my opponent misplayed this. Bishop g5 is attacking everything. So that's why my opponent goes rook d7. I'll go bishop g5 either way, I think. Because it kind of forces bishop f6 to stop bishop e7 to stop bishop f6. My opponent allows bishop f6 stuff and rook d1 stuff. I think I'm going to start with bishop f6. Ah, but there's queen g4. What about rook e6, queen h5? That doesn't work. Let's start with rook d1 then. Okay. Okay, we're running out of time. Not good. Let's go h4. Supporting this guy. Queen h5. My idea. And I have to play much quicker. I'll go rook e6. Or not. Okay. Things are happening. Ah! Ended up being a draw. Good game. I'm gonna analyze it. I can't rematch, unfortunately. I have this discipline of always analyzing it. But thanks for the game. Hello, Roger. Just started, but the PogChamps is so interesting to watch now. Is it going on right now? Who's commentating it? I think Andrea is probably coaching in it. Oh yeah. So we play the theoretical line. So we were following the opening book. Everything so far. Rook e1 is our... This is what Abdusaturov played against someone. Rook e1. And then bishop e7 and yeah, I went d5. Which according to the engine is one of the best moves. Queen g4, bishop f6, I didn't see much. But I guess I could have tried this. Because if bishop takes d4, then I have bishop e3. And takes, I have takes, and I'm getting somewhere. And already here, white is +1. So already here white succeeded, therefore black has to play knight d5. And then takes. And I can't take here because there's mate. So I have to go queen g3. Unfortunately. And yeah. I guess we can try this to prevent black from castling. And kind of encourage black to take, which would be good for us. Because things open up. Oh, files open up, diagonals open up. So yeah, maybe queen a3 is like, this is the best way of trying to play for an edge. But d5 I thought was interesting. E takes d5 is already losing, and this is what I was trying to figure out because of bishop e3. And the point is that we're threatening takes and takes. And if something like rook d8, let's say, bishop takes and knight takes d5 is still... Wow, I didn't know this. So that's why I was trying d5, but okay, they go eat out. Also very important, I know, this is what we just calculated. Knight takes d5 is the only way, but pretty logical. We take back, and here rook d8 is wrong. So the best is queen takes d5. Of course, e takes d5 is also wrong, because of bishop g5, and then there's, I guess, queen h5, queen e2? And no, because the castles, wow. So bishop f4 simply. And the threat is rook c1, and just bringing pieces into the game. So that's why queen takes d5 is kind of needed, but after takes, and well, the engine, yeah, gives everything like zeros, everything is equal. But bishop d2, I guess, and bishop c3. And actually, I'm kind of trying to lose. Now I have to really make sure I'm not losing. Well, maybe not. Maybe I do have plenty of compensation, but for a moment there, it looks like, especially after king d7, where black's rooks are coming into the game, it looks scary at some point, but we just have this very nice move, bishop c3, threatening takes, and black has to already play something awkward, or just give up the pawn, and we have better structure. So potentially in the endgame we would be able to win. So d5 is not a bad try, but maybe queen g4 is a better try because of the same reasons we stated before. The dark squares, they're pretty weak. Ah, okay. Anna Rudolph has been commentating chess for such a long time. She's a true OG. Okay, well, we start with a draw. We get another white. Good news. But the good news, the other good news is that we are getting to exercise our opening muscle in the Alapin, the late Alapin. H5 is a weird move. It's a useful move, but it's a weird move in this order. I think I can just go d4 and transpose into the main stuff. I'm gonna go knight f3. Yep. I'm gonna go a3. The idea is to be able to play bishop d3. Bishop d7 would, I guess, stop bishop d3. Actually, bishop d7 I played before. Oh, I was lagging. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. So they go a5. Makes tons of sense. Still lagging a lot. I'll reply to that soon, very soon, Viking. Bishop d3 makes sense, because now takes isn't possible, and the idea is bishop c2 at some point. Castles knight c64 becomes a thing. But I guess... we should simply sacrifice here. So should we take and play king h1? I don't have time to think. Bishop e3 was another Kender move. But I was worried about queen takes b2. So bishop e5 is a super threat. So black wants knight g4, queen g1 type of stuff. But I'm not gonna allow it. We won't allow it. Queen takes h5? No. I'm lagging? I'm lagging even more? What? Okay, knight c3. Knight g4 they're gonna try. They can't resist it. And here bishop b5 makes sense. Knight e2 also makes sense. So maybe that's blundering to knight f2. I guess I can go h3, but then, yeah, that's a problem. Queen f3? No, that's... Okay, I have to give this check, unfortunately. Yeah, things didn't go our way in this opening. h5 threw me off. Pretty successfully. Okay, let's go bishop e2. Hope for the best. Like as a draw, if they want to. This one I'm happy, because I'm getting a little bit of counterplay. Oh, what a horrible move by me. Terrible move. Truly terrible. Okay, let's go bishop e5. Ugh. Everything's horrible. Let's see if we can squeeze anything out of this. It's not over until it's over, though. Ugh, that's a horrible move. Bishop d4 was better. Okay. Beggars can't be choosers. Can we save this with the amount of seconds we have? Probably not. Oh. Thanks for the game, Denlo. That's tough to pronounce. Let's analyze this because I messed up in the opening. Congratulations. Well done, Viking. Maybe you can send the games. Yeah, so h5 is actually absolutely fine. And I should have played knight f3, and after c5, technically d4. But okay, people play c3. And I guess that what my opponent wanted is knight h6. And just get into this position, which would be very similar to what we usually transpose to, just with h5 eventually. So I guess putting the knight on c2 is still the idea. But instead of that, I went d4, and now it feels like it's a good French for black, just because we spend this important tempo with f4 rather than knight f3. And usually white is a little bit quicker putting their pieces in good squares and avoiding black's counterplay on the queen side. That's my explanation. But yeah. Here, king h1 was better. Bishop e3 was better. But yeah, bishop c5 and it's game over. It's just -1 and I didn't find rook a2. So it's even worse. So now knight g4 and it's almost -2. So tough luck. And we didn't get any other chance. Oh, we got a chance. Wow. Oh, what a shame I didn't find this. Look at this. Rook takes b7. So instead of this, we went bishop d3. And then it became alive again. Because technically black has rook f8, which is better. And they're winning this because they could sacrifice a couple of pawns, given that even losing these two pawns, they have these two passed central pawns. And they're much quicker than my pawns. I'm gonna get mated if I push them. So rook takes b7, look at this. Of course, rook e7 is a very deadly threat. And lagging. Goodness gracious. Why am I lagging so much? Okay, but yeah. If it becomes unbearable, please let me know, and then I'll probably end the stream and stream with lower resolution or something. But yeah, rook takes b7 was there 1,000 times. Look at this. Takes, bishop b5. Even here. Because I have bishop d4. What? Look at this. What a draw. What an amazing draw. Because the rook is on g8. Without the rook on g8, like king g8 would be escaping the perpetual. Wow. Well, I had 18 seconds, but truly no excuse. And after that, it was just hopeless. It was rapid. Well, congrats either way. We have a third white in a row. So they go for d6. Let's go d4, occupy the center. And bishop c4. This is how people play. Let's go for queen e2. Anticipating knight f6. They could go d5. I take, bishop b3. Okay, let's go bishop b3. Now, if d5, I have e5. Maybe I should have played bishop e3 first, and after knight f6, queen e2, and like the move order would have been better. But okay, this is fine. So h4 doesn't seem that strong now. Knight c3 makes sense. Knight c3 makes sense. h3 makes sense. I like h3. Knight bd7 I'm expecting, and then I'm gonna go bishop f4. Wow. Yeah, I guess it works. But I can take here. Not only I can, I guess, approach this position with g4 and... Okay, no, maybe not. But knight takes e5 maybe works. Because knight takes e4, knight takes f7. Ugh. Terrible. Okay, well, let's try our best. That was terrible. How on earth can I blunder that? Knight h5. Well, queen f2, it's not clear. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Goodness. Our tactics are suffering here. Let's see what we can do. Well, that's the queen f2 also, because the queen h4 was a big threat. Hopefully it's not too easy. We are threatening g4, and if we're putting pressure on the clock, maybe we can hope. That's all we can do, by the way. We can only hope. Oh, wait a second. Takes. Yeah, we have to take, I think. We have comp. A little bit of comp. Okay. Maybe I was being optimistic, as usual. Yeah. e5 is falling. Pretty convincingly. We have to do weird things over here. Ugh. Yeah. Maybe queen f5 was a better try. Okay. Bishop d4. Goodness gracious. Can't do anything. Okay, let's try this. And claim that, I don't know, the dart squares? Something. How is my opponent not running out of time? Why am I the only one running out of time? Okay, I'm down a whole rook. Classic. Okay. Yeah, that's annoying. Right. No. Thanks for the game. I would click rematch. My muscle memory would. We were doing well. What did we do wrong? Oh yeah, I know what it. Yeah, this is horrible. This is super poor. Like 93 or castles and we're doing excellently. Ay, ay, ay. H3 is also a little bit weird. I mean, it's okay. Castles is preferable. And just go knight bd2 and then h3. Okay. It happens. But my tactics are a little bit weak. I've been working too much in the opening, I guess. It's hard to find a balance. Okay, let's play our beloved Philidor. Bishop g5, we got knight bd7. There's also bishop b4, I think. So c6 makes sense, bishop b4 I think no longer applies that much. Especially because it's not a pin. King c7 makes sense here. We actually defend f7 via tactics. So in this case, king e8 was also playable, but bishop b4 is defending the pawn pretty comfortably. So they take it, I take. I take. We go bishop e3, I'm assuming. Okay. Now I take this one. I can also go rook f8. But let's just take this. Rook d3, I check, and knight f4. Or even... Well, e4 doesn't work. We can't... It seems like we can't make it work. Ah, maybe we can actually, because we have e4 now. Check and e4, and bishop g3 we take. Which I hadn't seen by the time I played it. But now we're completely winning. See, this is the only way I can win. If everything is opening theory. And I just win a piece. Which is pretty sad. Nothing to brag about. But I guess, yeah, maybe something to brag about. I mean, that would have never happened. Wow. That would have never happened before. I think we can simply take this and go rook d8. Back when I was still an untitled player, That's so much work to do in the opening. Thanks for the game, Iguana. We had played against Iguana before, by the way. Let's just analyze this pretty quickly. So all of this is theory. And yeah, this is all pretty standard. So c6 is better than bishop d6, which is actually the most popular move, but c6 is better. So knight f3 is still the main line. And yeah, king e8 is played, but king c7 is better. So many people play this, but okay, king e8 is fine. Nothing to criticize, but king c7 is the perfectionist way. And bishop c4, and then we just go bishop e4. And we're doing well. Knight g4 is the other move, yeah. Yeah, I remember this. So h3, and then we go knight h6. Yeah, this is the main line. And after bishop e3, we go... So we went here, and then a5. But I guess bishop e6 is better, and then we go knight b6. But bishop e4 is fine. Bishop e4, what we did, and then they take, and then we take. And this is actually better for white. What? With rook h1. Wow. And I guess it makes sense because all of white's pieces are pretty active. And I guess knight takes e3, just rook d3. Yeah. So we actually misplay this. I was thinking everything was pretty perfect. But here bishop e6 is stronger because after takes, it's equal. But including rook f8 it seems to be important. Because if you don't, what happens? Like what's the difference? Like if I went this position, I'm just gonna include rook f8 and bishop e3. Like this position is also all of a sudden equal. But this one isn't equal. What's the difference? Let's go back to this. So let's include rook f8 and bishop e3. I'm not saying rook f8 and bishop e3 are the best moves in this position, to clarify again. I'm just including it. I'm just manipulating the position. Because it's much better to do that as opposed to include rook f8 here and go back and then, yeah. So this... So with inclusion of rook f8 and bishop e3, it now takes... okay, yeah, of course. We're taking back. It's pretty straightforward. We're taking a pawn. Okay. That's why you include rook f8 and then knight takes e4. So we can play bishop e4 as long as we know rook f8. And knight g4 is also playable because there's f6. After h3, we're not scared of white doubling the pawns because we have h5 and bishop h6. Okay, that was a good win. Okay, we're gonna get a King's Indian. We're gonna get the Fianchetto King's Indian. Okay, so that's... If castles knight e4 was my idea, so knight d2 is preventing that from happening. Of course, bishop takes b7 is a big threat. So knight c6 is a very natural move, it seems. And against this, I had e95 in as an idea. But it gets in the way of stuff, so I'm gonna go just knight b8. I just provoked d5. It looks like I wasted a move. Which I just provoked. It's the same position, but with white's pawn on d5, which is beneficial for me, because I can hit it quicker. In a nutshell. In a very reductionist explanation. But I'm by far no expert in this, so take that comment with a pinch of salt. Bishop g4 f3. Should we provoke f3? Let's provoke f3. Never play f3, as they say. And let's go all the way back. So we're putting all our pieces back. It looks funny, but because we're lacking space, so we have to be very careful. This, I know for a fact that this knight belongs on d7, and the bishop is okay on c8. Okay, now a lot of pretty talk, but nothing is actually being done here. I'm gonna take my knight to c5, but first play a5 to prevent b4. b4 takes knight d3. I'm getting the bishop, so I would be happy about that. I'm gonna take here to put the queen in front of the pawn and then potentially win a tempo. But then there's b4, so that's a problem. That's a problem. We have to address this. we have to address this. So a4 sacrificing this doesn't make too much sense. Knight c5, b4 takes. I guess we can go c5. Can go c5, but that looks ugly. That looks disgusting. Positionally disgusting. Clarify. I don't know. b6. Try to go for bishop a6. Provoke b5. And then I'm just gonna go back. That's winning a pawn. Okay, now we're completely winning. Things changed very quickly. Let's take. Let's reinforce that bishop so I can come here. Okay, let's go knight g4. That knight is annoying. Okay, they did something about that. Maybe not h5 now. I have to play super quickly now. Super. Rook e8, trying to go for e5. e5. That sound is horrible. Okay, where's my play? What am I doing? Knight h5. Okay, I want knight h5. I want to trade pieces and bring my queen into the game somehow. Oh, I have c5 here. I was just calculating this. Oh no, never mind. I'm not a genius. I thought I was being a genius. Okay, let's go. Ah. Yeah, this looks like it doesn't work. Shouldn't work. Whoa. So many rooks here, but they're in the wrong way. Wrong direction. Okay, everything is defended, so I can pre-move stuff. Rook e1, rook e1. Okay. We're winning. There we go. Oh. Whew. Thanks for the game. Ay, ay, ay. Let's be stoic. Let's still analyze the game. That was interesting. So knight d2 is an interesting move, and there are no games in the database, so this position is so popular. It's quite amazing that what my opponent managed to find something that has never been played before. And after knight c6, which is the top engine move, thankfully, it makes sense. So you're just addressing the situation with bishop takes b7 while creating a threat. Here knight d4 was better. Of course, very active move. But I assumed... I mean, this knight looks pretty... Actually, it's funny because there's no one can attack this. Comfortably, at least. And we're gonna follow it up with something like c5 or e5. That, yeah. And my knight is pretty nice on d4. So this is what we should have played. In fact, the engine already recommends knight b3. What about e3? Ah, knight b4. Hello, Ertuk. That was epic. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. You should check out Leon Levaich. I know I mention him a lot, but he's the same. I aspire to be like him in that sense. He's like, he has 5 seconds and he's converting an advantage. So there's always room for improvement. All of these guys are super monsters. But Knight b8 was wrong. This was right though. And it's still, you know, a moderate advantage for white. It's not losing for black. And here we did all the right things actually. We took on b3. We went knight d7. We went b6. Okay, b6 inaccurate. It was better to go c6. Ah, because I have 95. Wow. This is the type of tactics that a good King's Indian player would spot. So you go c6 and you kind of encourage b4 because it's actually not as good as it seems. So we went b6 and after this we're completely winning. But now of course because we have 30 seconds we're kind of playing all weird. We're winning, then this is not winning anymore because there's e5, but then rook e1 allows c6, but I play rook a3, this is also winning. Now knight g4, ah yeah, this is what I was trying to make work. So c5, I made my life complicated because I was looking at this. But I have knight g4 right away, making my life super simple. And yeah, it's just game over because knight e2, there's bishop f2, and then there's ideas of takes and queen h4. But yeah, after this, it's just chaos, complete chaos, and rook b3 is, of course, giving me 1,000 chances. And then queen g5 I was happy to see, because trading stuff, yeah, good news. And here, once he or she allowed this rook c3, I'm trading. Okay, we're finally getting an e5. We're gonna play the 4 knights Ruy Lopez. But people play g6. People play g6 and I've encountered this several times. People like this line. It's not very good. Or maybe it's decent. I forget about the evaluation. But I think I have bishop e3 here. And just treat it like a dragon. So I just go queen d... Ah no, wait a second. Yeah, I think I go queen d2. This is in my files. This is somewhere deep in my files. So let's castle queenside. It makes tons of sense. Here, what? This is out of my... Okay, let's take it. I mean, I think we can just go f4. This is very weird. Let's just not like prevent 95. Okay, queen e2, queen g4 is an idea. Knight b5 is an idea. King b1. Let's play king b1. Let's take it easy. So d5 we have to keep an eye on. So let's go queen e2. But then there's e5. Are we worried about e5? Now we can go g3. And then knight d5 and we can... Oh, yo, I missed this. But maybe it's not that bad. Knight a5, I have bishop b3. And maybe I have king a1, rook b1 ideas. Completely missed bishop takes e3. It is the strongest bishop though, so... Maybe it's not the end of the world. Bishop a8, queen takes e4. So let's go bishop d4. And then bishop takes e6. So potentially they have to already take. But if they take, the question is, do I take? I'm not sure. Okay, this looks good. Okay, we have bishop d5 here. But then we kind of get into a worse endgame. This is pretty complex. Bishop e5 is a candidate move. It doesn't work. Oh, bishop takes a7 works. Potentially. No, it doesn't because there's queen b6. But even king a8. Okay, let's... We're getting too excited here. I'm gonna go king a1 and rook b1 at some point. Technically, queen e3 is a threat. Okay, bishop d5 looks very good. Let's go king a1. Maybe we're allowing knight b6. Rook b1. Knight c4, rook b4. This rook b4 as well. So now a5. And if a5 by them, I go rook b5 and bishop d5 is still in the air. Queen e8. a5. Get this. This is a blunder. Because I have bishop a7. Queen b5, rook b1. Queen e4. Queen b5. But then maybe it's tricky to convert this. But that's not gonna go king b2. It's walking into a 1,000 different losses. Okay, let's convert. Okay. Actually, how do I actually win this? I guess like that. Oh, there we go. Oy, oy, oy. That was poorly converted. We should have taken here. There were 1,000 ways I could have won that much better. But we took the point. Yeah, check as well. Yeah. Poorly converted. King c4 also including is useful. But with 3 seconds. We can't blame ourselves too much. Oh, we have check here. Look at this. And then include the rook like that. And if this, queen c4. That's probably the best. Thanks for the game, Sparky Marky. Let's take a look. So, yeah, g6 has become very popular. It's known as the Steinitz defense, according to the opening book in Lichess. We go d4. It's the most natural move and the most critical move, just occupying the center. And we've played this pretty, like, decently until... Actually, knight takes c6 is fine. I thought it would be wrong. The engine likes h4, but it's low depth and it's too close. Yeah, knight takes c6 is fine. So we played this pretty well. Pretty surprising. Although 92 is the best move here. And after castles queenside, knight f4. They have to go d5. To which we play bishop b3. And the threat is king b1. So our advantages, once again, long term, we have the bishop pair. But we have to play semi-accurately. Pretty accurately. But we went f4 and now it was difficult to find a plan here. The engine just likes g3, a3 and making improving moves like that. Because once again, our advantage is long term. But we went queen e2 and that allows bishop takes e3 and now it's equal. Then we got bishop d4 and now it's back to slightly better for white. Because white does have the bishop pair after all. And black can't easily get rid of them without making me happy. Because my structure would get fixed. Here g3 was better. And then bishop 66 is still a problem to be sorted. But I rushed into this prematurely. That's redundant. I rushed into that. Now it's black's better, but then they messed up here. And then this is a blunder. And after this it's just winning. Well, technically it's not. I guess black has a way of defending, but practically speaking, that's probably winning most of the time. Let's pre-move d6, given that we played against essentially anything. Let's go e5, very important. We get the endgame again. Against bishop c4, we do have to go king e8. Against knight f3, we have to be careful against this one, actually. Because knight b7, for example, knight g5 is the end of the game. I could resign. So I think I have to go bishop d6. I think. I played knight c6 once, but bishop d6 is the main line. Knight c6 and knight g5, knight d8, but it's very weird. So I think this is the way. I'm planning c6 and king e7. So I'm going to go king c6. The idea of c6 is to play king e7 without worrying about knight d5. I think king e7 blunders to bishop takes f7. Did I misplay this already? I think I did. Yeah, because if I have to go bishop c7, it's weird because bishop e3, bishop c5 is always going to be a problem. I mean, it's not that bad yet. It's still fine. Still playable. King e7. Maybe I can sacrifice the pawn. Nah. Let's go for the sad looking move. Okay, let's go king e7. Actually, let's go b5. So b4, knight takes c4, isn't that winning a pawn? No, because there's rook e1, so knight a4. So let's go a5. If a4, then b4, and it's a better version of that. They have to go knight b1, I believe, to keep rook e1 moves alive. But knight e2 does allow knight takes c4. So now I'm better. So now I play king e7. I have bishop a6 as well. I'm pretty happy. Let's play quicker. With bishop a6, we're hitting the knight, so rook e1. Whoa. That looks horrible, positionally speaking. So f6, knight c5, and be happy with this. Bishop c2, bishop takes e4, bishop takes e2, I think works. Maybe I shouldn't rush into that. Why allow that? Just go knight c5. Just go knight c5. That was a close call. I was about to make my life pretty difficult. Knight g3 makes sense. And then I need to play something like g6 at some point, and I think that point is now. So let's go g6. Let's go. Oh, let's take. And play bishop e7. We have to defend our stuff. Okay, let's go rook d8. And now I want knight f8, knight e6. Let's start with king e7 though. Let's put this rook here and then at f8 so I can take back with the rook. I can also go for this. Okay, many moves win. I think the key thing here is to not lose on time. So let's go 96. F5, H6, G5, knight D4. I want to go bishop C8. Bishop F5. 96 back. Or knight F5. Knight F5 is maybe better. Takes. I'm gonna go bishop B8, bishop A7. I have 10 seconds. Who am I kidding here? Let's see. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was a shame. That was a shame. How do I... Why do I... Exactly. Why do I not play quicker? Yeah, this is completely winning. I should have just started pre-moving from here. Good game. Oh, wait, let's take a look at the opening. Yeah. Ah, bishop b4 is what I play. I forgot. Where's Levic? Down Levic, no? Yeah, I think I may have mixed up because king 8 is playable, but bishop b4 is also. And I think this rings a bell. I mean, king 8 is fine, and after knight f3, bishop d6 is correct, and castles is. This is fine, and then c6 is slightly worse because than a6. A6 is better. c6 just yeah, rook d1, and then I have to play a little bit scarily because we allow bishop e3 and bishop c5. But a6 is better, and after a4, we just go h6. So we do have to approach this position pretty differently. Okay, let's take a look at the other moves. So for example, bishop b4 here makes sense. Bishop takes knight takes e4 is fine. Bishop d2, king e7. Castles queenside. Knight bd7. Knight ge2, and we go c6 at some point? No. Just a5. Yeah, this is an annoying line. Yeah, what we did was fine. Just go a6. Just go a6. Other than that, it was a good game. Yeah. Maybe we should try 1d3 with white. Like they're doing here. Where's my game? Let's lower the threshold. There we go. Let's go 1d6. Haha. Actually, this is interesting. So we go h6, which is a useful move in general. Bishop h4. I think we just go bishop g7. So let's go knight f6 is knight f3, knight h5. And at some point I want to go c5. Maybe I should have gone c5 before. But I'm quite sure it's fine. c5, d takes c5. I'm not convinced. So I'm gonna go develop like this. Okay. Knight f3, I go knight h5, bishop h2, e5. This one takes and d5. Or maybe I should have gone c5, now that I think about it. c5 seemed better. So knight f3, g4, what is going on? Okay, now I like my position. Let's play quick. Lee. So knight takes g4. I could castle, I can also play knight h5, keeping the knights. Not sure which one is convenient. I think knight h5. Forcing this and then castle the queenside, because if I castle queenside, maybe bishop h4 is annoying. Wow. Okay. King b8. Okay, now I take. Because I'm forced to. Let's see. f5 is a candidate move. d5 is a candidate move. Knight e5 is a candidate move. My pieces are kind of a little bit weaker and more passive than my opponents. And I'm spending too much time. This is a very dynamic position. This knight is not incredible, but this bishop is not incredible either. Okay. Let's attack the queen. Okay, that was blundered. For sure. Okay, now we're doing pretty well. I'm winning 1,000 pawns here. Wow. Pretty respectful. We win the game. Quite sure that someone quick had serious chances to flag me. But I guess in the same way that I was playing quickly because I didn't want to flag, my opponent didn't want to flag either, and that's why they blundered queen takes a2. But king b1 and it's still equal. I suspect that was worse. Wow. That was never worse. Oh no, it was equal. But it was never worse. Actually, it was only worse when I started panicking with bishop e5. And here, queen f3 with the idea of just pushing pawns would have been okay, but queen e6 was better. This bishop g5 move is very weird. It's kind of just hoping for e5. Free move, I guess. Yeah, we played g5. Yeah, c5. c5 is one of the main moves. The knight f6 is fine, which is what we did. And c5 is fine here. I didn't like this. It looked ugly. It looked like I was giving white bishop e5 unnecessarily. But it's better. It's better for black. Well, slightly better. So c5 was correct. I played bishop f5. And now this... I thought I was happy with this, but I shouldn't be happy. Should have played g4. Now c5, yeah, this one definitely. But e5, then they can take, and I realized very quickly that my bishop is now blocked and I have to do this. Whereas if I go c5, then it's happening right away. I would definitely look into Leon Levaich. Leon Levaich has a series of videos called 1d6 weekly workout. He makes it look so easy. He's getting no problems out of the opening, so take a look at that. Let's play the delayed Alapin. I like positional chess, and it seems pretty positional opening. It gets dynamic depending on what white plays. For example, in the Philidor, it can get dynamic. But in most of 1d4 openings, it does get... I mean, everything gets dynamic eventually, but... most of d4 openings are positional. Okay, let's go d4. d6, bishop c4. This is the main line. Knight c3. Castles. Rook d8 and rook c8. And bishop e7 and a6 are all equalizing. But a6, bishop takes e6, queen takes e6, rook e1, bishop e7, d5 is what we had today. Maybe we can try rook queen g4 in this case. But okay, they will go for rook d8. And I guess that I can go queen g4. I can also go queen f3. I can also go bishop g5. I'm gonna go bishop g5. I want to tease f6. And I want to ask questions about that one. I have d5 here. Takes. No, it doesn't work. So let's go queen f3. Putting pressure here. Let's take once and play rook fd1. And against this I go knight e4 and knight c5, and maybe I have a super small edge. Okay, I'm gonna go g3, h4. g3 is multifunctional. I want king g2, but I also want h4. Well, seeing that h4 is not getting anywhere anymore, maybe I won't go for it. I'm gonna go a4. Either way, with this move, I do create myself a new weakness, but at the same time, whoa, this is weird. Something's wrong here. Oh wow, that was close. It was almost trapped. Rook c4, queen a3. Now this looks very suspicious. But unfortunately, there's nothing. Okay, let's start with rook c4. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna spend all my time here trying to find something that doesn't exist. That's the truth. Whoa. Well, first of all, there's rook a2. Second of all, there's knight takes b3. Whoa. What is happening here? I'm winning, no? And, well, yeah, I'm winning. Oh, pretty creative. Whoa. That was insane by me. Insane. I've never made such a gigantic blunder. Okay, I have. Okay, now it's a draw. Oh, it's not. What am I saying? I'm playing like absolute trash here. Okay, now I force this. But of course, I'm too late for everything. I'm lowering it. Ugh. Thanks for the game, Damon Cigarrito. That was pathetic by me. Let's take a look at the opening. So rook d8. Yeah, so about anything equalizes here. So rook c8 equalizes, rook d8 equalizes. As you can see, there are tons of draws. But you have tricky lines against some of those moves. So for example, bishop e7 is the most natural move. You go queen g4, and after castles, you take. Queen takes c6 already runs into something a little bit annoying, which is this. And for example, after knight d5, you have knight e4. The threat is takes and takes. Yep. So e5 has to already be played, because if king h8, that doesn't fix anything. So e5, sorry, e5, and then we take either way. Black is forced to take with the queen to defend the mate. I guess we take the pawn. So we're up a pawn and we should be winning. So that's why black has to go queen d7. And after knight e4, queen e7. But we can continue putting pressure with rook d3, and then there's also f4. So yeah, that's why people don't go for bishop e7. Also, there's this line with b takes e6 instead, but bishop h6, bishop e7. Rook d1 again, because knight e4 doesn't work because of queen takes d4. So rook a1, king h8, and then there's still knight e4, queen e7, and then something like bishop f4. Or, yeah, I guess bishop c1 here. I don't know, rook c1, yeah. So yeah, and you go bishop. You just take this and go bishop e5 and claim this is a slightly better endgame, which it probably is, because of the bishop against the knight. But the knight has this, I wouldn't be so sure. I guess that the c6 weakness is more of a weakness than d4. So that's why people don't go for bishop e7, and they try to go something a little bit more clever, such as rook d8. And there's bishop e3 here. What did I play? I played bishop g5, which actually is a good try. Because the only decent move here for black is bishop e7. If f6, of course, bishop e3 is a much better version because e6 is weak. So for example, after this, there's queen b3, and already d5 is strong. Wow. Knight takes d5, rook a d1. Wow, look at this. Very dynamic chess. So the threat is bishop c4. I'm assuming, I know, knight takes d5. Knight takes d5, e takes d5, and rook takes d5. Because after queen takes d5, there's bishop c4, and we're pinning along the d file. So for example, king h8, and we take either way. And we're taking on a7. So we're getting back a material, and now black is the one with the IQP. With the questions to answer. So that's why queen c8 is played. But then we just get back the pawn. So, of course, that's what I was hoping for. But bishop e7 is very strong. My opponent played this. And just there's nothing. So that's why people play bishop e3 and don't even attempt to get anything as white. And they just play rook a1 and then play normal chess. So yeah, that's the story with rook d8. a6, this is what we got last game in the last game. So rook e1, and if bishop e7, there's d5. And it's a little bit tricky, but there's also queen g4, bishop h6, and rook ad1 followed by knight e4. So those ideas are still... I think it just directly transposes. And we got a good game, but yeah. Yeah, my problem is time management. I play for quality, but it's... You do lose quality if you're not winning the games. So I play for quality, but at the same time, I fail. Let's go knight f3. Wow. c4 I've met before. So d3 is strong if I'm not mistaken, but b3 is also strong. b3 is also strong because b5, a4, a6 doesn't work. And if I can get just my center with d4, I'm doing well. Aha. Okay, let's go bishop e5. Oh no. Yeah, this is strong. Completely forgot about this. I have to approach this position much differently now. Okay. Let's go knight a3, knight c2. To force a decision. Maybe I shouldn't have gone. Maybe I should go for knight c4. Well, let's see. Knight c2 makes sense. So knight f5, bishop takes f5, potentially. Here, b4, no. Bishop a3 is a counter move. Let's go queen e2 for starters. I'm starting to like the position. Bishop a3. That I don't buy. Let's go bishop like h3, no? I don't know, what am I saying? Wow. What am I? Completely blundering that. Completely blundering that. Completely naive. Very naive. Okay, let's go rook f1 and h3. Can't castle anymore, but it's not such a big deal. It should be fine. So I'm gonna continue with h3. Actually gets very sharp. For example, let's say knight h6 back, which makes sense, I guess. Because the knight it's not stable on g4 and it wants to be on f5, I guess. Knight h6, b4, b5, b4, bishop e6, b5, knight a5, bishop a3. Whoa, I'm not seeing it. Oh, wait a second. g3? What's the idea? Sacrifice? Wow. That's brave. It doesn't work. Shouldn't work. Bishop e3. Trade pieces when you're up material. King c2. Wait, I can already start thinking of trapping the queen here. Okay, let's go king c2. Normal. Keep an eye on the clock. Keep an eye. What, like that's not even threatening to, like, yeah, what am I saying? King b2, even more safe. Gonna follow it up with bishop e4. No tricks. Nothing. So we can go queen f2. And that's forcing the queen trade, I think. Because there's no queen d6. So takes. Once again. Just continue. Okay, we can do that. Let's go all the way back. We can also take... okay. This bishop is strong. Yeah, g5 is the only decent move I see. Why did I allow this? Why did I allow this? Okay, let's go knight c4. Okay. No, that doesn't look right. Oi, oi, oi. I wanted rook e1 before. What am I doing? That was a close one. Wow, that was that's insane. Good game. Congrats. Look at this. This is a good stalemate trick and he didn't fall for it. What a player. And this is another one. And he didn't fall for it. Good game. Once again, we were doing very well. The opening didn't go our way though. Yeah, d3 makes more sense. Yeah, this c4 move is interesting. I've met it once before. Only once. According to the engine, we should go for this. Bishop takes d3, no? Because of bishop c5. So we go bishop e3 and then bishop takes d3. But b3 makes a lot of sense. And taking I thought was wrong. And it is wrong because according to the engine, they have to go for this. So that's why b5 is playable. And I guess it makes sense. Here I just should go b4. So this is good for white. Wow. And this is not working. Yeah, I'm absolutely winning on it. Yeah. Absolutely winning. Thoughts on the perk? With this d6 line and variation and course that Leon Levite recommends, there's no opening in which white can force black to play the Pirc. So I don't have experience with the Pirc, first of all. Second of all, what is this? Second of all, yeah, I think you just have to understand how to strike back in the center with the Pirc. It's tricky. But if you learn it very, very well, it's one of those openings where, yeah, you're playing scheme setup chess. So you just have to learn the ins and outs very, very well, and yeah, you'll be able to succeed. You'll be able to become familiar with it. But I wouldn't recommend it to the beginner level. They're doing something weird here. I'm just gonna take and play knight c5. They go back. Okay, let's go c6. Now I'm threatening knight takes c4. Am I threatening knight takes c4? Takes. Takes d5 is okay, and takes. Sacrifice a pawn in theory. I know I don't even sacrifice a pawn. We have the bishop here. Okay. So we have to take with the pawn. And I guess what my opponent is arguing is a little bit weak because of this pawn. Bishop e3. Wow, that one. Let's go rook e8. Rook e4 is just a cheapo. So let's restrain ourselves from playing that. Just play... Actually, rook e4 is a good move positionally, I think. Because queen e7. Knight f5, I take and go d4. And if this, I guess g6. Bishop e6 also comes to mind, but g6. If rook e1, I have bishop takes d4 and force white to take with the pawn. So queen e2. And queen e2, something similar happens. I take. What is this doing? Like, what if I just play bishop d7? Ah, bishop d7, knight c7. Okay. Ah, knight c7, queen takes f6. Wow. That's creative. That's pretty creative. Okay, let's go king g7 then. That's pretty creative. They want to go bishop d4? Wow. Okay, I'm getting squeezed here. Oh, okay. Well, I blundered something completely different. Completely different. Okay, let's come here. Trying to go for bishop c6. It was a tough position. Tough position. Okay, this I'm not completely devastated. Ooh. That was a close call. Thanks for the game. That was madness. I was worse. I was much worse. So I was pretty happy about this. Where did we go wrong? Yeah, this is where it becomes not too much about quality, but yeah. Yeah, I'm just started going wrong here. So knight 64 is correct. Ah, d5. Because takes, there's takes, and we're still... Ah. So d5 is a strong move here. Yeah, I sensed something was wrong. c6 is... I know, e64 is fine. This is all fine. And I'd c takes e4 according to the engine, and then d5 even directly, like even right away. But c6 first, like even here it works, even wasting a tempo. But yeah, I should have done it directly. Pretty amazing. Once again, we didn't have any trouble out of the opening. So go follow Leon Levaich. We're struggling a little bit here, finding games. Wow, we've passed the 1 hour mark. Wow, time has flown. Okay, well, I'm gonna start calling it a day soon. So let's play the sideline of the French. Let's go c3. Not a3. By the way, the strong move here is d4. But after this, I think white is okay. So now g4 is a candidate move. But it shouldn't work because knight h6 and then h3 takes, bishop h4 is a problem. So let's just castle. Sorry. Okay, they want b5. They want b5, but that's... I can allow that, so I don't mind. Let's go king h1. Okay, let's go a4. And now... what do we do now? Knight e3 takes, bishop h7, queen d4. Sorry. Let's go b3. Knight a5, knight e3. Now that knight 64 is not a problem. And here I was thinking bishop b2. As horrible as it looks, it's okay, it does look pretty horrible. I'm gonna go bishop d2. So I don't know why I played b3. Actually, I'm getting confused here. What should I do? I don't know, but I have to play quick. To play quickly. I think I do want bishop b2. Against knight a5, I have rook b1, kind of only move. Yeah. Okay, this... I go rook b1. Okay. Ah, that's the problem. Okay. But now I have knight e3. Takes, bishop h7. And that solves a little bit of my problems. Wow. Okay. Rook c3. What's my idea? I think I can allow that. Bishop c2 is also kind of move, but I think I can allow that and go rook c1. And yeah, it's just pure tactics. That's a good move. That's a good move. Yeah, I'm busted. How could I not see that? Rook c2 then. I have a trick, which is b3, bishop takes a5, but of course they're not gonna fall for that. How do I fix this? Is it fixable? Can only kind of resist. Or rook b1. Okay, now I block. Now I block, which I'm kind of happy about. Okay, let's go knight. We have to be quick. Let's go e6. Knight a5, bishop a2, no, b3 falls into the same problem. Okay. Bishop g5 now. Taking on c4. I take on c4. Yeah, now I think I'm better. Especially if my knight lands on e5. Queen d7, queen f5. Queen e5. Yeah. Woof, woof, woof. That was a good game. So yeah, this is considered to be good for black, and white is, if black knows what they're doing, white is busted. There's some tricks here that white can go for, but yeah. I'm gonna go to the toilet real quick. I'll be back in a second. David, Leech's Tools Chrome extension has a custom time alert. Has a custom time alert. I don't know if it works properly, but it is under play settings. Leech's Tools Chrome extension. Let's take a look. I mean, like, for me to use a custom time alert. If that's the case, don't worry. Because I don't think even that is going to fix my time management. It's a thing of practice. I became good at some point, but it's a difficult thing to manage. I thought you were asking about something you were struggling with. That's very kind of you. I'll look into it. I mean, if it's yeah, because I couldn't find it. But if I test it out and I end up liking it, I'll thank you eternally. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I should really work on it. I keep saying it, but let's see if I can. I just get caught up with all of this talking. If you hear the bell earlier. Maybe it's over here. Maybe it's here. I'll look into it after the stream. For now, I think it's fine. Okay, game aborted. Classic. Yes. The late Alapin. Are we gonna get that for a third time in a row? Let's get something different. Okay, e5. Goodness gracious. So is d4 strong here? Probably. Probably it's fine, but bishop c4 also looks good. Let's go for d4. Looks strong. We have the complete center. Sorry, knight takes c6, b takes c6, e5, queen e7 doesn't seem to work. Knight c3, bishop b4 is annoying, but I'm quite sure there's a fix. Maybe there isn't. Maybe we already misplayed this. I suspect it's probably that, actually. Okay, we'll have to take, unfortunately, and go bishop d3. And play chess, as they say. So bishop g5 is interesting, but this looks good. Queen h5. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think that works. Did we transpose into some sort of 4 knights? There's a pawn on c2 in the 4 knights and the pawn on b7. So I know. How is this? How did this happen? It is some sort of 4 knights. Wow. I should have gone queen f3 then. I knew that I kind of recognized that. I'm gonna go bishop f4. Maybe there's it's a better 4 knights. Bishop f4. Rook c1. Hello, Siderite. Okay, let's keep an eye on the clock. We've been doing okay, but we can do even better. We can do even better. Pawn f3, bringing the pieces into the game. Rook d1. Knight e2, knight d4 is an idea. c5, a3. It's probably good for us. Or knight b5 directly. But knight b5 allows c4. Although even that is fine. Like c5, c5, knight b5, c4, bishop b1. I suspect we have an edge. Okay. Let's bring pieces into the king side. Knight g3, knight h5 is also tempting. So for now, rook takes c6 is a threat. So c5? I know, but c5 doesn't solve anything because we have a3. And if c4, I thought we have bishop takes h7. Here we're just winning a pawn. Okay, we can sacrifice the exchange. Or we cannot sacrifice the exchange. Let's not sacrifice the exchange. That's the prudent choice. Queen g3 makes sense. Rook c1 makes sense. If bishop g4, I'm just going to go queen g3. Very professional. Okay. Let's go h3, prevented bishop g4. Also creating escape square for the king. My idea is knight g3, knight f5 now. Or something like king h2 and queen g3 and just convert the advantage. Long term. Yeah, knight g6. Oh, whoa. I missed this. I missed this. Yeah, that was careless. That was careless by me. Not good. My knight belongs on f3. Weird move to make. But it does belong on f3. Okay, that blunders a bishop. I think we're gonna take with the rook to offer the exchange. Bishop e5 attacking. It's gonna be me this time. Rare footage. Rare footage of us being up on time. Here. Here. Trying to go for rook a3 and stop that rook from being annoying. Knight d4 is trading pieces. This is trading even more pieces. Thanks for the game. Yeah, that was much better. Much better. What was the best move here after e5? Wow. Surprisingly, you just ignore it with bishop c4. I didn't want to ignore it. Ah, there's knight g5. And I guess there's knight 6 f7? No? Wow, king e6 is much better here than in the fried liver. So... yeah. Are you training your... yeah, I am. I am, because it's getting unbearable. The amount of winning positions I've lost. I mean, it's not natural to lose winning positions, but in my case, it's just mainly time management. Wow, okay, well, this is playable. It's I thought it wasn't, but yeah, it's playable. It's the 4th most played move, so it's, yeah. I thought it was rubbish, but it's not. Now this seems to be the main line. Ah, it's been played at, wow. It's been played by big names. Nepo played it. I know Carlsen played it against Nepo. Carlsen played it against many people, actually. There's Carlsen M, and there's also Carlsen Magnus. Different people. I'm joking. But yeah, d4 is a mistake, because after this there's nothing. There doesn't seem to be much. I mean, there's a little bit of a tiny edge, very tiny. But knight f6, sorry, e5. Yeah. d3 scores better. So maybe we should have gone d3 and castles. And just approach this positionally. That makes sense. I used to play 3+2 more than 3+0 before streaming. Because streaming, like, it's better to have a more like, it's better to have no increment to get a little bit of more consistency between the games. But yeah, when I play Blitz with increment, the increment, yeah, you can convert things and you're relaxed. You can make 1,000 king moves, and then once you have a minute, I mean, that's just an example. Once you have 20 seconds, then you're a little bit more relaxed. Okay, knight f6, bishop b5. Already we wasted 30 seconds for nothing. So I go d3. This is the main line. If I'm not mistaken, they take. They go d6. And what was the way? I think I go h3, preventing bishop g4, but I'm not sure. The plan is queen e7, knight d8, knight e6. So let's start with queen e6. I should start with this. This makes sense. Okay, they go knight e7, which also makes sense. Let's go rook e1 and d4. c6 or a6, I go bishop. I mean, it's a good question, but I guess bishop d3. Bishop c4, knight takes c4, rook takes c4, d5 is unclear. So bishop d3. And now my idea is bishop a3. Also a5, just occupying space in the queen side. Okay, h3. Let's go h3. Knight f4 is never a problem. Bishop g5 is something to consider. Okay, this allows knight g5. This allows knight g5, and I'm happy to get the bishop pair whenever I have the chance to. So they move away. Good. Let's continue occupying space here. Okay. Bishop a3, rook f8. There doesn't seem to be much. Bishop e3 though threatens takes and takes on a7. So for example, rook f8, it's easy to blunder this. So but a6 is also easy to blunder this on bishop e6. I initially just played bishop e3 with the idea of queen d2 and threatening bishop 6 h6 in some positions. But I'm happier about this than at first. So rook a6 comes to mind. Now all of a sudden the queen side is open, so the game changes drastically. Let's just put pieces in the queen side and hope our opponent cracks under the pressure. So rook b1 blunders because there's takes, and takes. So we have to do something about that. I guess knight d2, knight c4. There's also f3. But never play f3. Yeah, I guess rook b1 is now an option. Maybe knight c4 takes. I take with the bishop and I'm threatening knight takes b6, bishop takes f6. It's looking okay. Wow. Okay. So should we keep the tension? We can play c4 actually. c4 looks very interesting. But we have 30 seconds. We have to make a move. I mean, we did end up playing c4. We're gonna take on e4. The queen on e1 is very, very useful. It supports rook a7, it supports the rook on e1, and it supports the bishop on d4 in the grand diagonal. So I'm happy about that guy. So knight takes e4 makes sense. Bishop takes e4. I'm in trouble here. Bishop f3 to have bishop h5. Knight f4, I have rook a7. Let's chop that guy off, as they say. Okay, queen c1. Followed by rook e3 potentially. Let's keep the rook in the 7th. Check, and then eventually bishop e5. Wow. Maybe I should have taken here. Oh. Oh. Now we're completely winning. Oh, this is just mate. Good game. Maybe we found the secret sauce. Okay. Let's not jinx it. But now we're playing much better. Well, much quicker. That doesn't necessarily mean much better. A4 is a novelty. A decent one, actually. But I'm quite sure it transposes into something else. Because it's nothing new. Bishop g5 was the main line. And I guess after queen e7, rook e1, yeah, this is the line. And d4. What was the... Yeah, 96. And I go bishop c1 all the way back. I remember this. And then c5. But then there's still a lot of game after bishop f1, rook d8, and g3. Wow, I couldn't remember all of this. It's been a while since someone has played e4, e5 against me and actually got into this. That's pretty tough. But eventually white does end up closing the position and something like this. Fair enough. Thank you, Artuk Kaya. Let's make the most of the wins because they usually don't last that long. But okay, let's not lose confidence either. Wow, this is confusing me. Knight f6, if they go g3, then I messed up because I wanted to go... Wow, this is tough. This is tough. What am I doing? What are we getting here? Okay, we're transposing. There we go. It's a failure. It ended up being a failure. Super strange move order. Let's see if they go for a4. Oh, they go for a4. Now it's time for e takes d4. Knight takes d4, knight e5. Ah, they take with the queen. They take with the queen. So if they take with the queen, do we go c6? What was the move here? Knight c5 is the move. Knight c5 is the move. And against b4, I guess there's knight e6. Or is it c6? Okay, this is where we lose. Okay, there's c6. I think it's c6 because knight c5, I couldn't make that work. Or maybe we're already messing up here. Yeah, potentially we're messing up here. Let's sacrifice a pawn. Times are desperate. Okay, if we take, we're getting nothing, so let's play queen b6. Yeah, this is far from ideal, but time is everything. Queen c7. We're just down a pawn for no reason. Ah, was it bishop g4? I think it was knight c5 right away, but I'll check that. I'll check that a priori. Knight g4. Knight queen c2. So this. But I have bishop c4 now. And this knight e5. Yeah, I'm getting something. I'm getting compensation I didn't deserve. Let's get b5 in. Although c5 is also interesting. But b5 is tricky. And usually you want to play tricky chess. When you're down a pawn. Okay. Knight d7. Rook e8. Ah. Queen a5. I know. Knight d7. Rook ac8. Yeah, this is extremely tricky. But now in a bad way. Now in a bad way. We're low on time as well. Not good, not good. Oh, I thought I blundered this, but there's not a fade in the end. I mean, potentially it's still pretty bad. Okay. Now I get bishop d5 sometimes. Not clear. Not clear at all. Beggars can't be choosers. Okay. Yeah, this is pretty tough situation here. What am I? Oh, I'm lucky. Takes 97. Here, blundering this immediately. What a genius. Complete genius. Oh, mouse slipping. Complete disaster everywhere. Wow. What a way of... I mean, I was losing before either way. What was this? Like, first of all, the move order is extremely weird. Because it's moving 2 knights right away. So in terms of... Like, this was tricky. Like, this was a good idea for white because they won a good 30 seconds. And then here, we took on d4, as we usually do. Normally, rook e1, we play c6, and if a4, a5. And then h3 takes, knight c5, and if queen takes d4, knight c5 either way. And bishop f4, bishop e6. But against a4, early a4, we take on d4, queen takes d4, and it was knight c5, so I thought c6, and it is a useful move, but after bishop f4, it is fine. I had to play bishop g4. Yeah, this is what I thought. But a little bit too late. And there's enough compensation here. Because after knight e6, it's just a pawn. But knight c5 either way directly was better. And after rook d1, I was worried about b4. Why shouldn't I be worried? Wow, I calculated this wrongfully then. There's d5. Yeah, this is what I was trying to make work. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable that I'm considering these moves and failing at concluding and finding the right moves because I know that they're typical. Wow, okay. They allow me to take here. Let's play knight c6, knight f6, g6, bishop g7. Let's see. Is g5 a counter move here? Don't think so. Let's try to go for 94. Let's go for 94. Trading pieces. Okay. What is this position? So we have rook e8, which is the passive one. We also have queen e8. Looks a little bit more exciting. Threatening g5 to some extent. We usually play exciting. Actually, knight d4 is a threat. So if f3, knight d4, and we're winning. So that's why they go for that. Now, not knight e7 because queen takes e4. But we have to stop knight d5 in some way. So let's say, I mean, a5 comes to mind, but a little bit too artificial. And there's bishop d2 on top of that. Sacrificing the exchange doesn't seem like it's working. Maybe we can play queen e5. I know, but then f3. You have to make space. I'm gonna end up going for the original idea here. Now I go knight b4 and I'm taking on a2. The queen b3 is forced? No. Something feels wrong here. Something feels wrong. I don't know. Something feels wrong. My time management feels wrong. Okay, let's try to go for h5, h4. Okay. This was successfully blundered by me. Well done. Now we're losing 1,000 pawns. Classic. Okay, let's try to go for this. Oh, we could have taken on here. Amazing stuff. Amazing. Okay, we can still take. Now we're threatening. I guess h3 and ideas like that. But queen e4, I wish where it was possible. Rook c2. So rook d2 makes sense. Okay. So takes, queen e4 at the end. I'm playing knight c5. I suppose there's not a 4. Let's sacrifice. This, and rook d8. Wow. So they have to go queen c4. Then knight e4. I'm getting somewhere here. I think we're better. Okay, now we win. No? What am I missing? We're winning the piece. Okay, we have 40 seconds. 40 seconds. Queen d3, rook d8. Actually, we're winning even with knight takes d2. Look at this. Knight takes d2, queen e4. And I guess to be super precise, rook d8. Knight f3 is a super threat. And king h1 doesn't work because of queen e4. So rook c1. Yeah, rook c1 is annoying actually. But then I go bishop e5, bishop takes f4. And this, just this. Okay. Okay, that was a bad move by me. Oh. Let's get rid of this knight. Super good defensive piece. King j4, queen h5 is mate. There we go. Well converted. That was a good game. Once again, we got a weird opening. So we took on d4. This is the English rat. We should have gone bishop e6. Yeah, but then I just thought it was transposing either way. So after b3, I was hoping for a5 stuff. But I already went wrong, actually. Yeah, this is already slightly better for white. So in theory, yeah, I should go bishop e6 all the time. And there's some theory here. With 94, whoa. And you put your knight on c5? What? Why on earth? What's the meaning behind that? I have no idea. But the engine likes g5 preventing f4. Because now there's queen h4. And of course takes. I know this is losing. Knight d3, wow. Okay. Thanks to the right. Took couple of breaths, but I didn't hydrate. Okay. So we either transpose into the 4 knights or black goes bishop b4, which is the Roy Lopez up a tempo for white. But we're gonna go bishop b5. Bishop b5 is, we're happy with this. They go bishop d6. And we're kind of out of book here. So let's just play natural moves. I guess I should have played a3 at some point instead of rook e1. But oh well. Yeah, because bishop a4, b5, bishop e3, knight a5 is annoying. So let's go all the way back and regroup potentially with g3, bishop g2. Okay, knight d5, e3, h3. What's wrong with d4? I want knight f5. Yeah, this makes sense. Wait a second, don't I have takes and e5? You have to take with the b pawn. Yeah, they missed that. I'm quite sure. Maybe it's not a big deal. Okay, my idea was something like bishop f4. Oh, bishop g4. Wow. That was poor. Okay, now we have a second life. But I guess we're losing a pawn now. We could go rook b1, but that's... Who plays this, right? Yeah, unfortunate, but it could have been worse. 130. We're doing well. Okay, now we're ready for b3 and rook d1. bd1. Okay, so now let's go bishop d2. To not make it easy, clearly they wanted something like takes and 95. Yeah, that's annoying as well. Bishop d4, I'm going to play knight d1, which looks extremely passive. But I do want c3. Something like knight e3 as well. Actually, knight e3 maybe has some venom. Let's start with c3. Okay, a3 or rook c1. Rook c1 looks not good. Let's go bishop e3. Let's speed up a little. Okay, that was blundered. So maybe we have tricks here. Yeah, I'm pretty lucky I have this. I know. How did I fail to see that? Queen g4 maybe a super move here. We're playing very risky chess, very risky. This, I have nothing. Other than rook e4, fe4. That's far from ideal. And this, I thought I had this. Am I not winning? Ah. I'm not winning. But it's far from clear. Oh, yeah. It is not far from clear. It's pretty close to clear, actually. What am I doing? I'm trying to move a piece that is pinned. I need to go back to the basics here. Yeah. Aye, that's a strong move. Now I'm down the piece. Wow. Am I getting married here? Ah. Ah, ooh. Good game. Wow, that was a close one. Where did we go wrong? Yeah, rookie one was... I know, it was fine. But we should have taken and gone d4. And we got a slight plus here. Yeah, we were doing well. All of these moves are good. Oh, except rook d1. Yeah, bishop g4. But we should have taken here. And then, wow. The engine says queen d1 back. With the idea of f4. But also queen g3, f4. And as a result, queen d3, f4. What was going on in the middle? Just curious. So rook takes e1 works. Because there's tons of... Like, my pieces are super inactive, so even if I do get the queen. But I kind of confused everyone here. And yeah, this just doesn't work. I should have taken here. But they calculated it very well. And I'm busted. Bishop d6. Let's go for the Philidor endgame. Okay, Philidor normal. The standard line. Okay, they go for rook e1, so let's go c6. a5. h3. Ah, bishop a2. Let's go h6. Now I'm kind of out of my opening book here. I suppose I can take and play knight c5. But I've seen people play just rook e8. And bishop f8. I do have to watch out for some tricks. b6, d5, knight c5, e takes d4, bishop takes d4, knight e5. Looks reasonable. I don't think knight c5 worked because of take 6 and e5. So of course we're threatening knight takes f3 and bishop takes h3. And I think even if white goes off like queen f4, we can still take and something like knight. Ah no, knight d7 doesn't work. Because there's queen takes f7. Let's not forget about that. That guy at the back. Pretty strong. But I guess knight h5 stuff against queen f4. Okay, they go for this. Bishop e6. I want to get rid of this. Because my bishop is pretty passive. The question is bishop takes e6. I guess we could make a case for pawn takes, but okay, it doesn't make sense. I was gonna take with the rook. Here I take. Don't have much choice. Once again, I don't think there's too much here because we're weakening g6. So we take with the rook. And sure, their knight is coming to f5, but I think we've equalized. It felt like maybe there was some other moves that could have ended in a catastrophe for black. Okay, so let's reroute this rook to the d file, or rook a8. Queen e3 is a natural move. I intend to play bishop e4 at some point. Okay, let's go rook a8. Let's go g6. Forcing knight g3, because knight e3, knight c4. Or knight h4. Let's keep an eye on the clock. c3, queen b3. b3, bishop c5. Or bishop b4. And then c3, bishop c5. Now that b3 is weak. Okay. Let's reroute this knight. How do we do it? And rook d8 is a mistake. And let's go knight h5, of course. Knight f4. Yeah, we're definitely better here. Actually, we're threatening knight g3, which I didn't realize until now. Oh, I was initially just happy. Okay, now we get bishop e7 and there's no move for the knight. And g3. Tough choice, but I think knight e6 can't be wrong. Because the knight is forced all over the place. Do we want to force that? I don't think so. Okay. Oh, there goes my camera. Threaten mate. Oof, this looks very tempting, but okay, let's keep the pressure here. I'll change the battery of the camera very soon. Let's take. Queen g4 should be game over. Takes. Bishop e3. Yeah. There we go. Well, that was a pretty good win. Let me change the camera. There we go. So you're the guy who uses... Well, yeah, I mean... I thought there were many people using the light mode. Hey, we're playing at Sparky. Ah, Sparky's from the UK. Okay. Let's play the Italian. To mix things up. Let's go d3. Okay. We just have to watch out for bishop takes f2 types of moves. Okay. So what now? Let's start with castle short. We want to play h3 at some point. Knight g5 is knight g5, bishop g4. So let's play h3. Although queen e2 is also tempting. Play queen e2 actually. Knight h5, I have knight b3. Or knight c4. And now I'm threatening knight g5 or knight takes e5. I think knight takes e5 is working. So I'm attacking this. So far this has been a pretty good line. We're also up, well, not down on the clock. I was gonna say up on the clock, but we're not necessarily. We don't necessarily have more time than our opponent. Oh, wait a second. Oh, that was a close one. Goodness gracious, that was a mini heart attack. Thank goodness I have queen g5. I should have calculated this in advance. It shouldn't have been pure luck. It was pure luck. Okay. Yeah, I thought so. Of course. I mean, I could have gone h3, h4, queen h2, I guess, but who wants to do that? Okay, now I have to watch out for bishop f3, knight f3, because my king is lacking the natural defender. So let's start with knight d4, threatening bishop b3 to some extent. I mean, king h1 is also very safe. Let's start with knight d4. I'm not worried about losing the pawn. Take the pawn. Take everything you want. Okay, so they're happy to sacrifice this, clearly. But you know what? Actually, I do want to take it. But I also want to just play king h1. Okay, let's take it and play king h1. What about that? I think this is the accurate approach. And now takes, knight f3 is clever, but I have queen g3. And if h4, I guess I can consider sacrificing the queen back. But yeah, if I get one more move, I'll be fine. That move could be bishop e3. So if takes, knight f3, queen g3. Okay, now I have check. Takes. Actually, even better. Not sure actually. Let's take. We have 1 minute. Enough time. More than enough time. Hitting the f6 pawn, of course, 95 blunders. Threat is probably e5 if rook f8, and if rook f8 there's also bishop c5. And if knight d6, e5. Okay, let's go e5, making our lives simple. If knight takes, bishop takes, queen takes, rook e1 is... should be winning. We can tuck in this little move here, f3, to not allow bishop e2. Oh, wait a second, I allowed something else. Takes here is interesting, but I guess the clinical ways, either rook e4 or queen e4. I think rook e4 looks good. Okay. So we can try queen g3. And rook f4. c4. This is a free rook. Yeah. Thanks for the game, Sparky Marky. Just gonna analyze it. So everything was natural, and then they went for quick d5. And according to the engine, I should have taken and castled. Ah, this is hurting. According to the engine, I should have taken and castled, but it looks a little bit weird. I think I shouldn't have allowed this. I think I should have played something like this, where I go bishop b3, and against bishop e6, I just keep the tension, because bishop c2 seems to just allow d5. So maybe knight bd2. According to the engine, knight g5 is probably winning a pawn. Yeah, but it's... yeah, actually, not easy. Anyhow, I went for knight bd2 and I assumed that I was resisting here, and it turns out knight g4 was winning, because there is this trick. Ah, it's insane. I was watching out for tricks, and even then I missed it. So I was trying to not make it work, and still it turned out to work. So very poor, as usual. Tons of work to do. Knight g4 was blundered. And this is the type of thing where, yeah, a super GM doesn't forgive you. Like, a super GM finds knight g4 and it's game over. Right, you didn't even get to the middle game. So yeah, I shouldn't have played the Italian. I wanted to keep it varied. It turned out to be okay, but I should be playing things that I know theory of. That's why I go for d6. Okay, knight f6. There's gonna be a King's Indian potentially. They go for e3. So if they go for e3, they're going for this King's in. I know what are the 94 is tempting here. What are we doing? Okay, we should play quickly. Yeah, this is weird. Actually, I understand it now. So I go knight bd7. I go bishop e2. I go rook e8. I'm looking for his e5. So I get e5. Takes. And I blunder that. Amazing stuff. Okay. Improvisation time. So bishop f5, rook e8. Let's go bishop f5. Okay, 94. Does that make sense? Let's go rook here. Maybe I should have tried bishop g4 instead. Okay. Let's not live with regrets. Bishop d4 c5 takes doesn't work, because there's bishop d4 back, unfortunately. So let's try b6. I suppose they're gonna move their knight. Or not. That's unclear. Okay, if I can get the bishop here, I'm happy. Ah, 97 is a blunder. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, how do we do this? Bishop g7 also blunders that. Okay, let's start with this then. Weird move, but I don't want to allow 97. And if g3, I guess I have bishop e6. What? Wow. Completely missed this. I have to sacrifice now this. Okay, let's include this first and then rook d5. Wow, very well calculated. Or very poorly calculated by me. Probably both. So c takes d5. Okay. It's still not easy. Still not easy. Okay. Let's see. We have to trade pawns somehow. Okay. That's trading pawn somehow. Okay. I thought that looked risky, but it's fine. It looks fine. It seems like it's fine. Wow. Look at that king. Oh, yeah. It doesn't work. It doesn't even work. Tough luck, tough luck. Yeah. Well, that was well converted. What did we do wrong here? Should have gone c6. Should have 94 here. But it's already worse. e5 is a mistake. I know 94 would have been fine. 94 would have been fine, but I guess it's suboptimal. We should have gone c6. Ay. Yeah, but the problem is that we're out of our book. And our opponent is playing pretty naturally, so being out of your book when your opponent plays naturally is not a, it's obviously not good. What should we do here? Do we play everything right? b3, look at this. We could have played e5 right away. Many moves are fine for black. c5, for example. And I guess it's just very equal. Okay. We're getting another one of these weird ones. Let's try to transpose into the fiddler. Okay. And they go for g3. They go for g3. This one is very weird. Very rare. So what's the disadvantage behind this? Okay, let's not burn all we have. But I think c6 has to do with it. Maybe I rushed for this. Now there's b4. And I have to go 96. Yeah, I rushed for this. Okay, well now I have d5 maybe. Okay. Let's say with a pawn. Given that we're gonna have this weakness, we might as well keep pieces on the board. 94, takes, knight takes d5. Am I blundering that? I think so. So let's go this way. So knight takes. And if bishop takes... I could consider d takes e, but I like... Let's stick with the knight. I like the active looking knight takes e4. Okay, let's go queen f6, hitting this. Of course, taking here, not only, even if I wasn't getting the pawn on h3, giving up the light square bishop is definitely something white should think twice before doing. Queen f3, queen 64. Maybe it's not that easy to defend this. Wow. That's brave. That's pretty brave. Okay, let's put the queen in an active square. So now the light squares are chronically weak. Pretty surprising that my opponent went for this. I guess that they went for it because they know that they can force a queen trade. For example, queen h5. Well, it doesn't force it. Does it? Oh, it does. Probably does. Okay, let's take and play rook d8. I don't want my structure damaged. I don't want to allow queen takes g6. Yeah. So I thought... bishop h4 doesn't work. Let's play this. Okay. So now it's slow but sure progress. I mean, it's equal. Maybe I should have played f6 first. That's a weird move to make. Okay. Yeah, this is not going my way. Knight b5, I think, is strong. Okay, let's create a passed pawn. Try to create a passed pawn over there. Knight b5 is worrying. We have 16 seconds. That's plenty. I mean, I thought it would... I mean, it's not plenty. It's far from plenty, but... I thought it was worse. Okay. Oh. Yeah, this is a draw. Maybe we should force it. Whoa! Under this. And me thinking here if I could win for play for a win. Definitely I'm not the one. Okay. Wow. Gonna be a draw. Yeah. Let's analyze that one because it was... People have been playing very weird stuff like in the last couple of games. So we played c6 and this is fine. So this is known as the line variation. Yeah, c6, bishop g, well, a4. And I should have played bishop e7, bishop d2, castles. And simply... Let's see if there's Leon Levitch here. No Leon Levitch. I guess b6. Yeah, but this is weird. This is weird. It's not nice that all of a sudden black doesn't have the plans with d64 and knight c5. But the engine likes rook e8, and so like rook e1 and just classic Philidor bishop f8 type of stuff. And queen c7. And eventually take here. And play rook b8. What? Why? That's pretty tough to see. Okay, what about 95? Yeah, 95 is more natural and also good. And if takes, of course, we equalize immediately. Takes, we equalize immediately. And we do have a threat, which is c5. We do have a threat, which is c5. And, for example, king h1, c5, knight c4. And you're going to say, well, David, isn't this weakening d5 extremely? Like, greatly? Well, knight takes e5 doesn't work because of c takes d4 concrete chess. And bishop takes e5, d takes e5, we have the bishop pair, so that compensates. White is still slightly better because of that same reason. It is a very anti-positional move. Knight b5, queen c6 also forces white to give up the bishop because this is attacked, so white has only one way. But yeah, it works, that's the bottom line. And like bishop c1 would be pretty sad to make here. And you are losing a pawn on a5, so you have to give up the bishop, I think. But even pretty remarkably, if you can say that, is that after bishop f4, you would think that black has to address all sorts of things. Like, you know, you played this anti-positional move, and white kept the bishop pair, so you should be able to do something like, I don't know, knight takes b2 and take a pawn, take material. Bishop d7, quiet move. And now you're threatening knight takes b2. So let's find out why knight takes b2 wasn't a threat before. Okay, queen e2. And why is this a big deal? Okay, white is threatening queen b5 and this knight is goodbye to the knight. So what if we play bishop e6? Okay, interesting. What if we play bishop d7? e5. Okay. And bishop d7, all of a sudden I have king g1, knight takes b2, and knight a4. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty tough to find a good plan here. 95. Okay, if it's not c5, then just bishop d7. And if white continues wasting tempos, now c5 is a better version, but even then, you can just play b5. And this is much easier to understand and much easier to play for a human. And the evaluation doesn't change that much. Ah, we're increasing rating, nice. Okay, we're gonna get a Carcon. It's better to play bishop d3 first. So bishop d3, knight c6, c3 is the right move order. So bishop here, queen b3, queen b6 is the main line. There's also e5 here, I think. Okay, let's go knight d2. Knight f3. Do we want to include that? I think we're going to cast on play rook f1 directly. I want 95. In which case, after takes, we're taking on h7 in the end. That's why I didn't include h3, because then the bishop would already be on h5. But we still get 95, which is pretty nice. And now we get the, well, comfortable decision. I mean, it's up to us whether we want to keep the bishop pair, and I think we do want to keep the bishop pair. So let's go like this. I think I want queen d1 now. So given that the position and the structure has changed greatly, I want to put a knight on g5. But first I'm going to start with h3 because okay, maybe knight h5 is still a bit annoying. So I think our advantage is long term because we have the bishop there. So we should take it easy. Okay, rook f1 is a very natural move. Ah, why did I allow this? I should have gone knight f3 potentially. Maybe it's not such a big deal. Bishop takes g6. That looks interesting. Probably not working. So let's take and play knight f3. So what black is creating a battery between their... I'm joking. Bishop takes, queen takes, knight f4 doesn't work. Actually, sorry, knight f4, queen g3. I know, queen g4. Ugh, that doesn't work. Doesn't seem to work. So let's start with queen d2. So the idea is queen g5. But there's queen knight f4 now. So let's play g3. Knight takes g3, takes, queen g2 is winning for white. So that's out of the question. Now I get queen g5. They're gonna go for the minority attack, but they have to worry about some tactics here. Specifically, I think they go for it. They're not scared. Okay, let's go a3. We believe them. Okay, that's definitely wrong. There's no way that's right. Allowing 95? Yeah. There's no way. No way, pal, as they say. Knight takes f7. Knight takes g6. Potentially didn't work. Okay. Okay, we have 42 seconds and we're lagging a little. So let's keep an eye on that. Knight f6. I guess I could go bishop takes g6. I can take on d8 first. What am I saying? I can take on d8, I can take on c4 and take on e6. That's what I'm gonna do with knight f6. I guess that's why this is pretty tough to play against. And now let's think. Let's go rook e2. Threat is b3 or rook e1. So let's go b3. I'm not even threatening anything. Oh, now I am. Okay, bishop 65 is a threat because rook e8 is invading. And it's game over. But we have 17 seconds and we're lagging. There we go. Well, that was a good game. What I always ask myself is, first of all, there's e5 in this position, which is extremely tricky, and I think, yeah, white needs to know this h3 move. And this is the type of thing that you just need to memorize because it's just insane. Insane the amount of theory and tricks. Thank you, Kaya. Leech's Tools has a lag alert. I thought you were going to say that Leech's is struggling in lag in general, and I was going to become very happy because then the amount of things I've tried to fix the lag, and it hasn't worked. But yeah, I think it's a problem in my network, unfortunately. It could be worse. It was worse actually before. So I'm grateful. What am I doing here? Oh yeah. So yeah, it's become well known that queen d7, queen c8 are equalizers. But it's still, you know, slightly better for white. So I'm happy. Yeah. So I went queen c2 because I wanted to make this 95 takes, bishop 6 h7 idea work. But of course, they find bishop h5, and after bishop h5, it's quite straightforward. Actually, the engine finds even a better move, which is knight h5. And then bishop f5. Doesn't mind doubled pawns. Yeah. My stream lagged. How is the experience as viewers, by the way? In terms of lag. I know in terms of entertainment, you're extremely happy. No, but like in terms of lag, because if I try to watch the stream while like with my same work, it's just same network, it's just going to lag more. So it doesn't make too much sense. I'm assuming it stops from time to time and you guys have to wait like 5 seconds. And it may be my fault because I am streaming 1440p. And usually you want to stream at 1080p. But at 1080p you don't get the better Normally it's fine. Today it's the first time it like. Unfortunately, I think it's most of it like yeah. There's been nothing new with this stream in terms of lag. But maybe it is worse than usual. I don't know. I'm sorry about that. Hopefully the VOD isn't lagging as much. We were happy actually after this. H6 is another equalizer. Yeah. So what was a better try? Rook fe1, bishop h5, rook e3. No, 95. Takes. And bishop f1. What? Yeah, I don't believe in bishop f1. Bishop f1 is... That's insane. Let's take a look at this game. Ah, they want to go for c4. Wow. Okay. Well, I take it now. So c4 is the idea. It's fine, no worries. Okay, thanks. I don't watch that often. Exactly. 5 seconds of lag an hour is not bad. Okay. I think it's 5 seconds of lag each 20 minutes or 10 minutes. Okay, let's try our Rui Lopez. Oh no, takes. Knight 64 is working. So we go bishop a4. And now knight 65 d4 doesn't seem to work, so it's castle. Okay, it still doesn't work. Well, it's close to working. But okay, let's play d3. Okay, now they're really asking for it. Now it works. I think they want to do this. Takes, bishop d4, knight f3, bishop g4, I guess. But I can go knight c4. Okay, now this is just better for me. Okay, knight g4 is an idea. f4, rook e1. I like rook e1. Okay. They want d6. I can go knight c4. And knight a5. I like e5 here, but queen f3 is also tempting. Okay, let's go c3 and kill this bishop. And just reroute the knight. Of course, d6, knight c6. Maybe b4 was a better move. Shouldn't be a big deal. Okay, isn't this just winning a pawn? Or invading? Okay, this is winning a pawn. Bishop f4 is in the air. Queen 6 h2 is a threat, so let's go g3. Bishop e6, queen f3. Or queen h5. I like queen f3. Okay, this. I have queen f3. Or queen h5 again. Let's go queen h5. Tough to choose. Let's go queen f3. No, I allowed queen g6. Wow, all of a sudden my light scores are very weak. Queen h5 was probably better. Okay, they play that. I'm not too scared now. As soon as my knight lands on c5, I'll be happy. Okay, understandable. Pretty scary, pretty scary. But I have knight c5, queen e2 to queen h4. Or queen e2, queen e3. I have to play quick. Quickly. Okay, let's not blunder queen f3. Actually, kind of, we were already blundering it. Hmm. We're not doing well here. I'm gonna play f3, by the way. Okay, queen f3. Rook f1. Doing nothing, actually. Suboptimal move, this one. Queen d3 whenever I get the chance. I have 7 seconds. What am I doing? Ah! I can't get in time trouble. Yeah, I'm forgetting about that. Ay. It was a nice game up to this point. We killed that bishop. Queen h5 directly, because after g3 it's just... Okay, it's actually still fine, but I have to find queen e8 or queen h5. Yeah. I knew it was queen h5. There was something in me. Something in me that was screaming. Okay, we transpose. I don't know why, but people are playing this move order today for some reason. Super weird move order. Normally people don't do that. So rook e1 and a4 are the main lines here. Okay, let's play c6. a4, a5. Okay, let's take. Knight c5. Creating the threat of takes and d5. Okay. So takes and d5 doesn't work for some reason here. I think this is the main line. I think the strong move is bishop e6. Why does takes and d5 not work? Isn't that just winning? I think there's rook takes e7 at some point. So bishop e6 makes sense. And if bishop f1, rook e8. So this I have f takes e6. And here knight d5 is a blunder if I'm not mistaken. Quite amazingly, because there's knight takes d5, strong move. E takes d5, e takes d6. Or c takes d6, this, and bishop takes d6. But I may be misremembering. But knight d7 is a strong move, I think. And then d5. Oh no, what am I smoking? Oh no, wait. No, it does make sense. Yeah, e takes d6 I didn't even consider. I'm getting tired here. Yeah, I think it's fine. I panicked there. I apologize. I think it's fine. Because our rook is active. I recall something like this. Yeah, they know theory. Goodness gracious. This is pretty strong. So now we have to defend the pawn. Goodness gracious, people are strong. 2450, like this is, knowing theory this far is, I don't know. That's for strong, real strong players. Okay, what was the idea here? Knight b6. Good lord. People know theory. Chess is becoming more difficult, I think. I say as soon as someone starts playing well against me, huh? Pretty convenient. I think I could take on a4, but I'm gonna keep the tension. So knight d5 is possible, but I'm pawn grabbing here. I think it's working. Knight e takes, and knight takes b2. Okay. Our pawn is thinking. We should be making the most of that. Times are gonna even out. 92 is a candidate move. 92 for our opponent. So rook f5. Yeah, this is actually a little bit annoying. Yeah, what do we do here? Are we just losing? I think we're just losing. Where does our rook go? Wow. And everything is falling with check. Wow. Trying to go for e5. I think I should have done that much earlier. Aye. Oh. Oof. Am I getting mated here? I mean, maybe not, but super close. Ah, good game, good game. That's insane. Everything is theory up to this point. Look at this. That's insane. So, knight d5 is wrong. Because bishop takes d5. There we go. And if c takes d5, there's knight takes d5. And there's lots of complications revolving around this position, but white is winning. So that's why knight d7 is the right move. Knight fd7. And this position is like, this is theory. We played theory. Look at this. Rook 8 f6. Knight b6. And I blundered with h5. As soon as I didn't know theory. Classic. This is why I'm not an international master. Knight b takes a4. Knight takes a4. Rook takes a4. Yeah, I thought about that. So h5 now this doesn't work as efficiently because there's 92. So I kind of, yeah, I was just scared of the back rank or something. I wanted the h5, king h7. See you guys. Thanks for joining. Okay, let's try to... 3 hours. I've been streaming for 3 hours. Goodness gracious. Okay. I need to go soon. Let's try to get closer to 2500. Let's see if we can speed up. Okay, I met this before. Knight c6. And then bishop e5, bishop e7. We ignore it. So we just castle. And they're going for queenside castling. That's brave. Okay, rook b8. Oh, there's knight g4. Bishop takes e3, rook takes e4 is a threat. I think I'm just getting a pawn. Castle's queen said, yeah, that's the only way. Can we keep the tension or do we have to take? I think we have to take. Unfortunately. So we're taking on f4 as well. Whoa. Should have calculated that. Okay, knight e3 is a move. Knight f6 is of course a move as well. Let's play knight f6, fg4, bishop d7, and rook takes f4. Of course, this is now defended, which is kind of the key difference. That's just blundering this. Okay, let's keep going. The opening in there was good. Let's keep getting closer to 25. We're gonna play this sideline in the French. Bishop e7, bishop c5, bishop e3. Knight d5. Ah. They wanted this. Knight a4, queen b4, c3, and bishop b4, c3 probably as well. Okay, but now I get knight a4. Ah, but queen a5. Okay. Yep, we have to go for it. The knight takes c5 is a threat. Okay, queen takes d4 makes sense. Okay, b4 doesn't work. Queen c5. b4 doesn't work because of rook takes d4, by the way. I guess queen b4. Don't love this move, but can't find anything else. I don't want to provoke f6. f6, e5 seems to be good either way. Castle's queenside. That makes sense. Ah, but there's bishop d7. What a strong move. I know, but is it working? Not sure if it's working. I think it's not. Yeah, now we have the bishop here and we're taking on a7 and we're winning. Success. Okay, let's not blunder the bishop. Okay, let's not blunder the bishop. Although, opposite color bishops, let's avoid that. Let's play bishop e8. Bishop d6. Bishop d3 is a major. b5 is a major threat. And where's this guy going? Nice, good game. I'm just gonna speed up here, guys. I'm not gonna analyze the games. That's okay. Okay. Let's play a5 regardless. This is the reverse the bird. Or some sort of English rat. In which white did not go d4. At least not for now. they can go for d4 later on. Ah, this line. Let's castle. Are they gonna go for e4? Because if they do, I completely forgot. Yeah. Queen e8 is fine. c6 is fine. Queen e8 scores very well as far as I remember. At some point I want to go a5. Ah, maybe I should have played bishop g4 first. Okay, knight c6. Yeah, I completely forgot about this. I think a5 instead of queen e8. Or c6, I don't remember. All of these moves are the same. Okay, they're not, of course. But they're very similar. Okay, let's go bishop g4. Not very friendly. Not very nice to disrupt this move, but not much else. h3, I have bishop e6, hitting the knight and hitting the pawn. Okay, king h8 is a very useful move, I know that. Queen f7 also comes to mind. Takes, takes, takes. Ah, what am I doing? I calculated that, but I thought I could take here. Completely, you know, nothing. Like, what am I doing? But okay, knight g5, queen d7, I guess. And a bishop f3. Bishop takes. Queen takes, bishop takes g5. Not good. But not losing either. Okay. Whoa. What is going on here? I take? What's the idea? Knight 65? Yeah, it works, I think. Let's go c6. Protecting. Okay, now I take and take. Oh, but I'm blundering b4 stuff. But I have b5? Plus, I have tons of counterplay here. Okay. Things are looking good. Sorry. This. Now that I no longer need it. Okay. I don't care about b4. You can have it. You can have that. That dude far away. Okay, rook e2. Takes, takes. Okay, there's 1,000 things that seem wrong from that move. That's fixing all your problems. Wow, what a move. Not calculating anything here. Okay, d5, I guess. So b4 is not possible. Well, I thought it wasn't possible. Wow. I get tons of pawns though. That's good news. b5, b4. Ah! Oof, yay. Thanks for the game, Johantix. We're getting close to 2500. We're getting close. Let's pre-move d6, given that we essentially played against anything. e5. This is the main line. Ah, bishop e3. Okay, let's bishop e7. They want to castle queenside, huh? Let's take. Let's c5. I suspect d5 at some point. For now. So this. I guess I have bishop h4. Okay, that one, there's no way. Takes, knight d5, takes. So I think it's easier to go here, but if this one works, then it's better. Ah, there's queen 68. What am I saying? I have to take. Okay, no. Oh. Ah, but I have queen 68 too. Not obvious. Okay. Knight here. Trying to go for c5. Or bishop d6. No, knight 65 or... I mean, knight... Actually, knight 65 was never working. What do I say? Queen 62. Crazy stuff. Okay, c5. Bishop d6. Bishop e4. g5, not h5 I'm trying to get. So I can go bishop f4. Knight g3, is that a threat? I guess because I'm taking an f5. Yeah. That makes sense. Okay, let's take with the f pawn once and then f6. Although taking with the h pawn and then f6 is also looks viable. But this one looks pretty safe. Once again, I don't think I'm in danger here. It looks a little bit scary, but we're up on the clock and we have good squares. The f4 square is pretty weak. Okay, definitely this is going my way, so let's regroup here. I think the queen on a5 is more of a weakness than a strength. I can go c5 here and d4. Let's add bishop f4 for now. So 94, a6. Because if 95 directly queen b5. Ah, but then I take and take. Ooh. 95. Okay, let's not get any funny mates. Invasion. That's a free queen. Yeah, this is game over. Queen f5. There we go. Yeah, actually, somehow, like, if we keep playing consecutive games, we get more in the flow. Let's go for the... Okay. Bishop b5 is important here. Takes on rook e1, and then we go for d4. So e5. e5. Knight c3 I think is very natural. Knight bd2 is also comes to mind. Okay, e6. Okay, let's go rook b1 for now. Okay. So we've got this position. Well, how are we taking it from here? They go knight e5, knight c. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I suspect we're getting sliding slightly, ever so slightly, little by little into a worse position. Let's go queen d3 and knight d2. Damage control. I'm gonna follow it up with king g2 at some point. I mean, it's fine. We're not worse, but we're not better either. Putting the pawn on a4 seems to be useful in these sort of positions. Trying to create play. This rook b3. This bishop d2. It's a lot about the clock. Trying to create a weakness here or make the most of this, but it's tough. Okay. g5 takes 6, knight takes g5, queen h6. Am I lagging? Oh no. That looks weird. Hmm. Yeah, this doesn't look good. I think I have to do this. Okay. Rook b4, I know. Oi. Don't blunder that. Almost mate, no? Well, not mate, but no anymore. So now it's completely winning. Ugh. Oh. Not winning again? Oh. Too slow. I just have to pre-move. What am I doing? Thanks for the game. Too slow. We're getting good games though. I was much worse in that one. Much worse. Let's continue with our Spanish Rui Lopez. Gather information. Yep. I'm gonna take with the bishop and play bishop g5. Queen d2 makes sense. Queen f3 also makes sense. Rook f1. Rook a b8, b3. Is my intention. I think e5 is a threat at some point in these lines. Okay, queen h5. Makes sense. Ah, but then knight c4. Then do I have e5? Takes. I think I do. Becomes very dynamic, as always. Knight f3 doesn't work. And anything else, I guess, 92, 94, 95. Those are my pre-moves. Okay. 94. That doesn't seem to work. f4, h4. h4, f6 is very solid somehow. e5, d takes e5. That looks good. Can't resist it. Okay, I'm gonna go... Ay. How do I get this bishop into the game? h4. Tough. Okay, let's start with a4. To not allow a4 from them. But I'm kind of amazed. Doesn't work. e5, h4. Oh, there's a move here. Look at this. f6, e5. Okay. So I guess e5 is not strong anymore. Oh, okay. That's a fix, I guess. Here. Takes here. e5 also. Queen b4 is attacking this rook. Let's keep that in mind. Okay, now I think I'm better. This. Yeah. Just said it. What am I doing? Okay. c3, rook e3. Doesn't work. Don't have any tricks, huh? Okay, but queen c1 I don't think is as good as queen a1. Now I'm taking and taking. Clock is all I can play for. I can take a play f5. Wow. Oh, wow. Oh, queen takes f4 worked. Takes. Okay, now it's all about the clock. Check. Oh, yo. That's... Oh. Panic, complete panic. Yeah, I think I should probably call it a day soon. My battery, the battery of the camera is going to die soon. Oh, sorry, I meant d6. What am I doing? Okay. Let's play some sort of Jababa London. Reversed. a6 is usually important. Well, am I scared of knight b6? I don't think so. Bishop e4. We got a good position. Okay, that's a free pawn. Okay, now we go back. And we should be doing well. Okay. Does make sense. Bishop takes e3 is a threat. The endgame where it's knight against bishop, it should be pretty good. Okay, now we occupy the c file. Knight d7 b5. Okay, let's provoke f3, and then let's go to h7. Or not. I think the knight endgame should be good as well. I mean, we're up a pawn. That's the key to success. Now, the rook endgame, I'm not sure, to be completely honest, but I mean, I am up a pawn. takes, rook d2. Okay, I think I'm gonna take with the rook because I don't want to unnecessarily give any counterplay. And I'm the only one with full control on the only open file. Let's just bring the king. Most endgames in which white trades the rook, I should be winning. Okay, d4 looks strong. King e5 looks strong. Let's go for... I like king e5. So rook f4, rook takes d5. Let's not blunder that. That would be a shame. Yeah, this is not easy. It was never easy. No one ever said it was. Okay, let's go a4. That's allowing a little bit of counterplay though, so maybe we should anticipate king d3. And now we're converting this a little bit cleaner, in a more clean way. Rook f6. It's getting tough. Okay. Advance this guy. Not clear. Come back here. I'm gonna put my rook on b4 now. I can also solidify, but okay. Just advance pawns as much as I can. Okay. Let's create a weakness there. Although, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Okay. 6. Everything's protected. Rook c4. And then b4. So far so good. Invasion. Takes on f5. Winning this pawn. Okay. We're winning tons of pawns, but let's not relax. Okay. Now we're winning. There we go. Thanks for the game, Comsec. I think I'm gonna call it a day now. It's been quite a degenerate stream today. Like, time just flew and I really wanted to play. And yeah, I mean, we got a good streak at the end. I guess the analysis does cover quite a bit of the stream. The amount of games that you can get by just playing game after game. Thanks everyone. Hopefully you learned something, and I'll see you around. Have a good day, or good night, I should say.